Hello and welcome to another episode of Golden Nuggets with Silvia Eldawi. Today I'm joined by none other than Christiana Maxion, the Dubai Matchmaker and founder of the Match and Meet app. Hello, Christiana.
Hello.
How are you
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on here. I think we're going to have a very interesting conversation because there are a lot of similarities between being a real estate agent and being a matchmaker. Ultimately, these are the two most important decisions you will make in life: where you're going to live and who you're going to live with. And
totally. And I always say, I'm like, the largest investment in your portfolio shouldn't be a car, plane, or home, but in your ideal partner.
Absolutely.
Well, for this podcast, we'll say home too.
Home too. So before we go into the similarities between dating and matchmaking and real estate, what has been your personal experience of real estate agents?
Oh gosh, I think that especially here in Dubai, some you love, some are super talented, so knowledgeable, completely professional. But most, in my personal experience, like they're hard to get a hold of. They're late to appointments. They're very much like they don't deliver you any information, and you kind of have to do all the work, and they just show up to collect a check.
Absolutely.
So,
and then after the check's cashed,
they're completely gone. Like the other day, I asked a real estate agent. I was like, "Hey, can you send me an invoice for this for tax purposes for my business?" They're like, "Oh, the landlord should do it." And I was like, "Okay." So then I messaged the landlord. And I was like, "No, that's the real estate agent's job." And then I tried to get him, and he was like, "Oh, well, actually, we don't do that." But he just said no because he didn't want to do the work. Then I had to dig in order to receive what I needed.
What about New York? Have you had any experience in the New Yorkers?
I would say that in New York, I think that more people are definitely in tune with what is going on in the market. They actually have answers to your questions. The barrier to entry in Dubai is low. The one in Dubai is low. No, it's very high.
You more or less have to do a degree in real estate to become a realtor.
And also what I find here too, because Dubai is so multinational, like everybody speaks different languages, which I think is amazing because then you can cater to different groups and different people. But in New York, I mean, I'm American, so English is my first language and only language, unfortunately. But what I find is, especially dealing with real estate agents in New York, those nuances of language and English they get, where it might be lost in translation here. But that's just like because of my personal experience.
Okay. All right. So tell us a bit about your, I know, I'm loving your billie mindset. Can you just tell us a bit more about what's billie mindset all about?
So I know I'm going to be a billionaire by 40. I already know it. And that is like, there's no creep of doubt in my mind that I'm going to make it happen. So my background is, gosh, I feel like I've lived 8 different lives already, and I'm only 34.
Christiana the cat.
Yes, seriously. But I've gone through so many different like transitions in career in my life, and I mean, now living in Dubai, the Dubai Matchmaker, my app, Maxion, Match and Meet. I have built things from zero into extreme success, and I already see like the trajectory of my career, especially with the app and how that's gonna create so much more connection for so many people that I just know I'm going to be a billionaire by 40. It's already written in the stars.
Done. It's already done.
So in terms of like that mindset, it's all about knowing that, living that, having those beliefs, thoughts, and actions that play into.
So what about like manifestations, affirmations? Are you into all of that sort of thing?
Yes, I mean, you have to be. I always say I am the wealthy woman. And when I make decisions, I always have that like kind of ingrained in my brain about, okay, what would a billionaire do? And not what would a billionaire do? What would I do? Because I act that way.
Amazing. Okay, so let's kind of try and draw some similarities between dating and house hunting. So obviously, ultimately, it starts with a need. How do you get your clients to decide on their wish list? Because everyone's got their tick list, their boxes that need to be ticked. How do you help guide them through that process of really finding out what they need rather than what they want?
Well, what's interesting is that our clients come to us. So we only deal with high net worth, ultra high net worth men who are searching for a service that we have. And they
Do you get women as well?
Well, all women are free. Women are
No,
free
but like
to
women
join the
coming
database.
to you to say, I want a husband.
Yeah, I mean, we do. We have people reach out to us, but our business model is
Mostly
more
men.
around working with men because our global database is over 40,000. And that's just how we've always worked. Like with my team, we have over 3 decades of experience. Systems are flawless. So that's just how the ways that we work. But in terms of like having like that checklist, in all honesty, our clients come to us because they know that we can help them find that hard to find match. So you can have 1,000 things on your checklist. We will find that person.
And
We will.
Do you ever have a conversation with them where it's like, okay, this is super unrealistic? Or do you just take what they say and, you know, nod your head?
No, so we're so discerning and very picky in who we choose as clients. So our clients, much like the members in our database, go through, I think it's 5 steps now. Gosh, yeah, it's a 5-step process in order to become a client with us. And that's why our success rate is so high at 96%, because we choose you through this whole process. So we don't take on clients that we know we can't help. So there are some people who do come to us and they're so incredibly specific, but if they're unrealistic in a way like, okay, those two don't match, like that kind of partner wouldn't be attracted to this kind of person, then obviously we don't take them on as clients, because we also want to make sure that the women who are going on dates, like they completely trust us. If we say, hey, we have a guy for you, some of them just go on a date without even seeing a profile because they know the caliber of client that we have. But with that being said, we make sure that we can help you when you come on to us.
So I'm trying to translate this now into real estate. So this is basically, you have the members.
Yes.
You have the clients, which are the paying clients. So in real estate terms, the paying client is either the buyer or the seller or the tenant or the landlord.
Yes.
You will attract one by having a base of the other.
I say that the key to matchmaking, I mean, one of the major keys is network. And network would then be, in translation to real estate, I guess, inventory. Right? What the inventory
and
is.
The thing is, I think there's a shortage of, there's a focus more on, I want inquiries, I want leads, but you don't have a product. So a lot of people are moving away from the secondary market, the ready properties, and focusing on off-plan units that haven't been handed over yet, because there's an abundance of supply.
I have
from
something
the
to say about
developers.
off-plan, but yeah.
But everyone's working on the same developers and so on. So I think it's so important to know that if you've got the properties, if you've got the network that's giving you listings that are ready, and your name keeps popping up in a certain area with this listing and that listing, you will get the phone calls. You don't have to wait for leads to come from reception or your manager to pass a lead. If you've got the stock, if you build it, they will come effectively. So you're in that position now where you've got clients coming to you because you have the members.
Yes.
And members coming to you because they trust your client base.
Exactly. You know what I wanted to touch upon about the differences you asked earlier about real estate in New York versus Dubai. What I found quite difficult and so different was that in New York, it would be like a real estate agency that had access to an entire building and exclusivity with this building. So you could walk into a building and say, okay, I want to see unit E, F, D on floor 8, 23, and 27. Where here, it's very much like there's no, I mean, what I found was that there's rarely any exclusivity. And you can have 5 brokers on one property, and then you can't see a multitude of apartments in one time or housing in one time because like, oh, well, I have to wait to get the keys and talk to the landlord because that other realtor has it. So I found that the process here was much more difficult than in New York.
And it's harder as well, I guess, to be an agent here than in the US because here they act, here and in the UK as well, you act on behalf of the buyer and seller at the same time. Whereas in the US, I believe it's more, you've got a buyer's agent And then you've got a seller's agent.
Or you double-end it.
Double-end it. I've learned that from
I've learned this
selling
from
Sunset. Yeah, the
we
playbook.
can double-end it.
Double-end it. Yeah, which is even better, double commission.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So the search begins. Real estate, you have your price ranges and your non-negotiables. And in dating, you've got your deal breakers and your red flags and your green flags. Can you tell us about some of the kind of rules and deal breakers that you hear?
Well, it's really interesting because we are, our paying clients are the men. Men are very visual creatures. They really, really are. But what I love and what I see is that the clients that come to us, and I call it the new age trophy wife, they're no longer looking for a woman that they put on a pedestal just because of her looks. They're looking for a woman that they put on a pedestal because of her successes, accomplishments, and achievements. They can bring her to dinner parties, events, and
she can hold a conversation.
Yeah, hold a conversation, maybe even outshine you a little bit, right? And that's lovely. Like I see that, and what I also see, and maybe people have a misconception that high net worth or wealthy men only want like models, right? Women that are 10 out of 10 on looks, and in all honesty, it's totally not that. And the men that we are working for are really seeking that connection to build a life with somebody rather than just live a lifestyle.
Amazing. And I love your polls on Instagram. You're always doing, what is it? Red flag, green flag.
Deal breaker.
A deal breaker. So what I'm always voting, but what are the funny results that you've had out of those?
Okay. So
what was the one about AC? AC on or off?
Okay. So
that's the big one.
So now I get people who are in my DMs that are like, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? And I've had a very funny story. One of my girlfriends was dating a guy. And so whatever, she had gone over to his home, and he was cheap, right? I mean, it's all in the story. You'll understand why. He was a brokey. But she went to his home, and she was in the house, and she was like, oh, can you turn on the AC? It's quite warm in here. He's like, no, it's not. As he's sweating, like dripping sweat, his shirt is obviously see-through at this point. And she was like, oh my God, he wants to save on chiller.
Or maybe he his connection got cut off because he didn't pay his bill.
Either or. She was like, I'm leaving.
Brilliant.
I was like, that is insane. So then the whole sleep with the AC on or off, and another friend had made a funny comment about it. So
what other deal breakers or red flags have you had?
Oh gosh, I think that a lot of people, I mean, just like a blanket statement, manners. I know that there's always a debate, especially on the gram, about who pays. Coffee dates are a major thing. I always say no to a coffee date. I think that it's cheap, it's short. It's also like, how sexy and romantic can you get in a coffee? I know that the whole, I guess, argument behind it is, oh, well, I don't have that much time. But it's like, so then maybe you shouldn't be dating. If you don't have that time and effort to dedicate to get to know somebody.
But don't you think it's a bit like, right time. It's like non-committal. It's like, okay, coffee date could be half an hour or it could be 2 hours.
Well, I always suggest, and I'm introducing this, I don't know if it's a new dating trend, but I'm calling it hedging. Where you should then line things up or stack things in a way where you go to have a drink with somebody. I mean, I don't drink. Like everybody's like, oh, well, I don't drink. That's fine. Have a mocktail, have a tea, have a coffee, have a, what's this called? Water, right? But go for drinks with somebody. And then stack on top of that a dinner or a night out with your girlfriends. You're not wasting an outfit. You're not wasting hair. You're not wasting makeup. And then if it's an amazing date, guess what? You leave them wanting more. Oh, I have something else. It's also like that. You're desired. You have other things to do. You're not just here for this. And then if it's a bust, guess what? It's not a waste of a night because then you get to see your friends and have a great night and maybe dog on him a bit after. Why not?
So let's try and translate that back into real estate.
Yes.
Stacking. So you want to understand your client a bit better. So instead of, and I think what a lot of people do, my experience here has been, I inquire about a property. The next conversation starts with, it's available, not available. When do you want to view it?
Yeah.
And they go straight to the date.
1000%.
Okay. But they don't know anything about what I'm looking for, or, you know, what other options they can show me. So it ends up just being a one property showing.
Correct.
Rather than multiple that could have been stacked.
Yes. I also think that because of all the apps that are out there now, you do have that direct contact. And I remember when I was searching, literally, oh my gosh, I remember having all of these random numbers in my phone because you're directly contacting them from an app. So then you just have random people calling you and you're just like, oh, you're talking to 12 different agents at once. And you're like, wait, which property is that? Yeah. Send that to me again. So I completely agree with you. And the ones that stood out to me, gosh, this had to have been years ago. It wasn't even recent. And I still talk to this guy, just like friendly and even on Instagram, because he was so extremely professional.
Why? What did he do?
This is what he did. Exactly what you're saying. Hey, how are you? Oh, are you just looking in this area in downtown? Tell me more about what you do for a living. What kind of area suits you best? Why? Is it you? Are you living with somebody else? Oh, you have a dog. Okay, well, these are really dog-friendly places that you should
And I bet
see.
the other 99% didn't even know that you had a dog.
Yes. And what ends up happening, this guy says, hey, I not only have this property, but I have 3 others that we can see on that day. He picked me up in his car. I mean, it's Dubai. You can do that. Don't do that in New York. Who knows what would happen? But anyway, Dubai is safe. So he picked me up. And he took me to these 4 different properties. Not only that, I got in the car. He had printouts of the specs of each apartment. This is just a rental. This is just a rental. So then he and I got to speaking and I started understanding him. He used to work for Emirates, but then he got made redundant in 2020. And then this was his new career. Now this guy selling luxury properties. And I'm just like, you know what? He deserves it because he put in the work, even when he was just doing rentals. Absolutely. He showed up, looked professional. I mean, it sounds funny, but smelled good.
No, that's important.
But like, it's true, you know? So I formed this bond with him and it made me trust him so much.
But you know why you formed that bond with him is because you spent over an hour with him.
Yes.
Rather than 10 minutes having a coffee or 10 minutes just viewing one property.
1000%.
You stacked the properties.
Yes.
So maybe you shouldn't have a coffee on a first date. No. Maybe you should commit to a dinner and sit all the way through, because maybe you might be kind of ruling someone out very quickly for superficial reasons.
1000%. And that is such a great point to make, is that people make, like, so in the matchmaking world, what I'm responsible for most of my clients, some want more hand-holding throughout the whole relationship, but setting up that first date, whether that's drinks, dinner, an activity, whatever your preferences are. And what I hear a lot after that first date, because I have to collect the feedback and figure it out, a lot of people don't give the other person a chance. Or I'll hear that the date was like a short amount of time. I'm like, why? Why did you only give that person? Oh, well, I don't know. I'm still on the fence. I'm like, I do advise to go on a second. I mean, unless it's something that's completely a deal breaker, then obviously don't waste your time. But I like to advise to go, because you have to put in the effort to get to know somebody. And not everybody shines on a first encounter one-to-one. So you have to see this person in different environments and focus on how this person made you feel and how they treated you, versus maybe a superficial reflection of
reason. And that's interesting, because actually if you ask any married couple how the beginning went, one of them probably didn't like the other one that much. Chance. You know, actually it was only on the 3rd date, or they were trying for 5 years, and then eventually I said yes. But you know, it doesn't always happen at the very beginning. And that's why, again, taking it back to real estate, as an agent, it's about building that connection with your buyer or tenant, spending the time with them so that they feel like, okay, this person really knows what I want. And next time they call me, I'm going to answer the call. I'm going to respond to their WhatsApps, because they know what I'm looking for and I've spent enough time with them. But if you're just a one-hit wonder, like a one property, you know, I'll meet you there, or let yourself in, then you miss that opportunity to build a connection. Okay, so the quest for perfection. Is it realistic in real estate or love?
Okay, I'm going to tell you how many people renovate their homes.
Okay.
I'm not saying to renovate your partner.
Well, recycle.
What I am saying is that if you think about real estate, right? When you walk into a home, rarely ever is every single thing absolutely perfect to what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with a partner, right? I mean, people, obviously you want somebody to like tick certain boxes, but a lot of communication goes into building a bond, building a connection, and building a life with somebody. Mm-hmm. So to expect that somebody is 100% perfect for you on paper the first day that you meet them, it's a little silly, because you also need to understand what this person's love languages are in terms of how do they show love, how do they want to receive love, and that's how you're building a relationship with somebody.
What's your love language?
Gifts.
Or gifts. Okay.
I feel appreciated when somebody takes the time to understand what I like and then gives a gift.
That's why she doesn't want to drink coffee, guys.
Physical touch too, but yeah, I mean, it's a whole childhood thing. I'll tell you offline.
Offline. Okay, so qualifying a client.
Yes.
How do you ensure they are ready for commitment? You take matchmaking and I'll take real estate.
Yes. So like I mentioned before, it's a 5-step process to become a client, but each and every one of our clients seems or deems success in matchmaking differently. Mm-hmm. I have some clients that looking for a long-term commitment. Mm-hmm. Some
without
marriage, maybe because some of my clients are in their 20s.
Okay.
So obviously with the hope of marriage, but with their time with us, find a long-term relationship. Some clients looking for a wife, some clients looking for a wife and to build a family. Some clients who are recently divorced and because of their name or whatever their business is, they don't want to be on the apps, then they don't want to waste time. They only want to be in front of qualified partners. So maybe their goal is to meet as many qualified partners as they can. Now, in terms of qualifying a client and whether or not they're right for us, step 1, apply to be a client. Little application. We look you up. Do a bit of a background check. I don't do it. My partners do.
Due diligence.
They do their due diligence. Step 2, screening call, just to find out, hey, more about you. This is where that comes in, that relationship. More about you. What are you looking for? Can we help you? And if we can, we invite you for a video call, paid call, small fee, where we get to present to you potential partners that are currently in our database, currently single. So then it's kind of like that try before you buy in a way, because maybe what we have isn't what you're looking for. And also, it's a great way for us to see if we gel as matchmaker and client. Because if you're somebody, because I can hear right away what you're talking about, if they're ready for commitment, the way that you respond to the profiles, I can tell right away if this is somebody I want to put on dates with our members. Because I cherish our members. The women in our database, I hold them up here. So that happens. And if we're both happy on either side, we have our contracts, payment. Let's get you dating.
Okay. So
how does it go with real estate?
In real estate, so I mean, there's a way it's done and there's a way it should be done. The main question that's asked is, are you a cash buyer or mortgaged? You know, not that it really makes much difference.
Money is money.
It's like, I'm nobody's doing this for fun. If they've called you, the chances are they have arrived at a budget for a particular reason, whether they've spoken to a mortgage advisor, they've got pre-approval, or they have a certain amount of money in the bank. So they know how much they can spend. Whether it's the final figure they end up spending, usually, you know, they end up spending a little bit more than they wanted to get the property that they wanted. You kind of have to be, and that's it. That's how it currently happens. What should be happening is delving deeper into, okay, so you've asked for a property in this location. Let's talk to me about why that location. Where do you work? Where do your kids go to school? You know, maybe you can suggest a different location. What tends to happen is, and I can equate this to your industry, which is, let's say, let's say you just started out and you only had 3 women as members,
Yes.
okay? And I called you and it's like, okay, I'm looking for someone who's between 25 and 30. Then you're like, oh, I've got a 40-year-old. You know, it's like, no, don't push just what you have. Find out what I'm looking for.
1000%.
And if you don't have it, somebody else does. So I think agents are not working with each other enough to get the property for their client. They're rather trying to get what they have pushed to their client.
I need to jump in here.
Go ahead.
So because me and my partners, our team, we have the largest matchmaking global database, matchmakers come to us all the time to help them. And of course,
like
we
split
always, not, I mean, it's worked in a different way in our industry, but we always collaborate with them because that's it. Your client and clients of other matchmakers, you shouldn't be just stuck to your network. And I see this a lot, and this is why a lot of matchmakers fail, is that they're doing exactly that. Pushing
what they have,
10 people, 20 people, whatever, however many people they have just in their network. You know what makes us so incredibly successful? Each client that comes to us is so specific in what they're looking for. We never stick to just our database. We are actively recruiting. Not only us, I have recruiters on ground in all major cities that are looking for this perfect partner for them. And that's why clients come to us, because they're like, okay, well, I'm not just stuck to this number, even though it's very large. I'm not just stuck to this number, but you are actively searching for somebody that fits the criteria and alignment of what I want in a partner.
So I don't know if you have the same issue in matchmaking, but in real estate, there's a lot of mistrust between agents, that they're going to steal each other's clients, or, you know, there's that reluctance to work with other people unless you really trust them. So how do you build trust in
that's interesting. I think that with us, because we are a team and we're a team of 7 matchmakers around the world, we cover different regions. We tend to only work with matchmakers who have been in the industry for years, for decades. And I have yet to have a new matchmaker come to me for something. I don't know if like maybe they're intimidated, but I say, come to me. Why not? Let's work together, because for me, I mean, I love. And we're expanding our team now. So let's go. Let's work together.
What does it take to be a matchmaker?
Oh, yeah.
If someone out there is thinking about either going into real estate, but maybe they could consider going into matchmaking. What does it take?
You know what? It really is like a hit or miss skill. You either have it or you don't.
Same in real estate.
Yeah, that's what it is. And everybody thinks that they can be, and that's okay. Shoot your shot. I never say don't do it. There's enough space for everybody in every industry. But I would say network, people skills, and joining a team would be the first place I would start. We're expanding in UAE and UK, so give us a shout.
Find her. She's hiring. Okay, let's talk about some of the bad sides.
Oh gosh.
Catfishing, photoshopping, filters. It happens in your industry, it happens in my industry. I'll tell you a story. My cousin listed a villa the other day, and he was having the garden renovated, so there was no grass in the garden. Sent him the agent came round, the photographer, they did the photo shoot, everything was great. Sent him the photos, not for approval, but just like, here are the final photos. And he was like, oh, they put the grass in as well. So it's like these photographers are super talented at making the sky bluer than it is. Make it, adding grass where there's no grass. Is it misleading to use Photoshop and filters? Is it catfishing? Let's talk about that.
Oh my gosh, of course it's misleading. Listen, everybody out there puts a filter on to some degree. I think that as matchmakers, like when you upload a profile, we know right away which is filtered to what degree, and like
what the name of the filter is.
And we do have rules on there. No filters, no sunglasses, no group photos. Not everybody follows it. But what we will do is, if we're interested in this person for a client, we will request more photos and we'll be more specific about what types of photos. But what we do as well, video. always video interview, or because I built the database from scratch in Dubai, I have some kind of connection to somebody, whether it's 8 degrees, 2 degrees, 1 degree, where I will know this person somehow, some way. And if I don't catch you on an interview, I'll catch you on a coffee, depending on what the client's looking for.
Okay. So catfishing.
Everyone does it, by the way.
What? Catfishes? Or filters?
I think most people filter.
Filters, okay, that's just making your photo look, just giving it a tweak, which I don't think it's that bad. But what about actual straight up catfishing, lying about who you are, what you look like, what you represent, your age? A lot of people might lie about their age. And in real estate, you've got the catfishing listings that are no longer available, but are only online to attract an inquiry.
To get a number from somebody, correct?
I don't mind it so much if you've got an alternative that is very similar, that perhaps you haven't yet taken the photos of, and there's a reason for you to catfish me into calling you, right? But if you're just going to say to me, that's no longer available, I'm mad. I'm angry because you haven't even got an alternative for me. You're just wasting my time effectively. So
well, the age thing that comes up a lot on current dating apps that are on the market, is that men or women will change their age so that they fit within a filter age range, so that they show up on more people's profiles. With Maxion, when I'm building the app, we scan your EID for date of birth.
Okay.
No catfishing that way. And also, we have some AI worked in there for photos. But it's interesting because even a matchmaker on my team, she encourages men to change their age so that they do fit into a younger age range, and then they can attract the person that they want. Me, when I was on dating apps, this is years ago, I found it deceitful. I think that, my personal opinion, compatibility has no age, nationality, or height, but that's me.
Because you're short.
I'm
so
a
you
shorty.
can get away with it.
Not too short. But so with that being said, I mean, when you join our database, we vet everybody. So you don't get that, which is great. And I think that video, I mean, how do you do this in real estate? I don't know, but
well, I've got some ideas.
Go tell us, how do we solve this?
Like, I would love, look, because each viewing takes out about an hour of my time. By the time I get there and get travel, back, go around, I would love for an agent to offer to do a live or a video call from the property, because I'll know from them just going around with their phone whether I want it or not. I love these new Matterport 3D dollhouse views that you get nowadays. I love seeing the floor plan. I love seeing as many photos as possible, not just 10. And I'll make a decision whether it, after that, I just want to go and feel it, hear it, smell it after that.
Oh, me too.
But I can eliminate on photos. But what we used to do back in the day, when I was growing up in real estate, we were encouraged not to get a floor plan, not to get too many photos. Why? Because we wanted to leave something to the imagination. Because we were salespeople, we thought, look, don't try and sell it with the photos. Don't try and sell it online. We're the salespeople. Get them to the property, and then your job is done. But in this day and age, with technology, with the advances in VR and social media, that you can just go live, it's all about saving time. People's attention spans are shorter. They don't want to waste time. They don't have to. So we do have to cater to people that do want to see videos. They do want to go on a live. They do want to have a video call on the property. And then all they need to do is, I just need to see the property, smell it, make sure there's no kind of loud construction noise, and then I'm ready to seal the deal. So it's about saving time as well.
Yeah.
So definitely. The video call. Yeah. Instead of a first date, or before the first date. What do you think?
So yeah, video calling before a date. So I have some clients that request kind of like a vibe check because they know that I've interviewed them, but maybe they just want to see for themselves. So I'll ask members to send a quick video and vice versa, right? If members are curious as well. And because a lot of our clients are global, they will meet somebody over video first before committing to travel to meet this person.
Vibe check.
Yeah. And we do encourage that because why not?
And there's another question that I think translates into both industries, which is how long has it been on the market for? So we get that a lot. And I don't really know what people want to hear. I know people want to hear the answer to that question is only just came on the market, or they only just became single.
People want to hear that it's been on the market for a long time, so then they can offer a lower price. That's what I would think.
Okay, yeah, true. Yeah, it's a kind of negotiation tool. But
yeah.
How does that affect? So if someone's been single forever in your industry, would you see that as a red flag?
Dependent on age. So in all honesty, our clients never, like the men that we deal with, never ask that. I mean, they'll ask status. Have they ever been married, divorced, or have children? Like, but that's normal, right? It's just stats. And no, but I don't think that should affect anything. Like I've had amazing relationships with guys who have been married before, who have been engaged before, who have never had a relationship. It's really what works between those two people. And it's really hard to make any comment after that.
And then I guess there's the connection with, if it's so perfect, why hasn't it been snatched up yet?
I hate when a guy says, like, if you're on a date with
single?
somebody,
why are you single?
Why are you single? You're so amazing. I can say the same thing for you, but not that you're amazing. Why are you single?
What is the correct answer to that?
Well, I always say that an easy way to kind of like get out of that question or avoid the awkwardness is, I'm very choosy in picking a partner, and still attracting that person.
So we could translate that into real estate. We could say, this house is very choosy about who lives in it.
Yes.
Which is why it's been on the market for a while.
This house has not chosen the right tenant.
Okay. Now, deals falling through, that happens in real estate. And it happens in real life as well. Someone who was engaged but didn't quite make it down the aisle. What would your advice be to someone who hasn't quite got all the way?
I think that's fine. I mean, another thing, you're really choosy of a partner. Why would you want to follow through on something that you know is wrong for you? I think it actually puts you on a pedestal because you are a better picker of a partner that way. And
how do you, as the kind of matchmaker, when you say you've got 96% success, is that based on marriages, or is that like, they passed a 6-month probationary period? What do you use to measure that? So what is success?
Yeah, so each client, like I mentioned earlier, defines success differently. And we really go like, okay, this person wanted to get married. Check, they're engaged. This person wanted to be in a long-term relationship. Check. So, yeah. And there you go.
All right, let's talk about due diligence checks and judging on social media. So, I think as a professional, so as a real estate agent on social media, first of all, I'm surprised by how many of them have professional accounts, but they're closed, or they're private, or they're professional accounts, but they're showing all their personal stuff. As a professional matchmaker, which is what we are as well, what should your profile, your social media be saying about you?
I think that they're one and the same. You are your personal brand, which then ties into your career. I actually don't know how people manage so many different social media accounts. I think you're the one, so just have one. That's my personal opinion. I think it's easier to track that way. And then, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because you have to figure out how you're presenting yourself on social media. Like for me, for example, like I am quite cheeky on there. I'm controversial on purpose. And I mean, people like it, right? literally had this conversation 2 days ago with my product manager, and she said to me, she's like, I've known you for years, and she's like, I love your Instagram. I'm always laughing here, and here. She's like, you're so different in real life. And I'm like, it's funny because people,
that's a persona.
Yes, people are like, okay, this persona, this is who she is. But most of my clients have zero social media. They find me through my website. They go, oh wow, look at all these stats. I want to be with this matchmaker.
That's a major green flag for me. No social media.
No social media. Any man who has a social media account and it's all selfies or him on his own,
red flag.
Deal breaker.
Yeah.
This person needs too much attention that I cannot give them.
Agreed. Okay, so that's interesting that you said you can only handle one social media. I'm guessing Instagram is your choice.
Yeah, so I mean, I have people now that run everything for me, but yeah.
Okay, so I think it's about being where your target audience is. And if your target audience is ultra high net worth individuals.
I'm on LinkedIn too.
Where are they? They're on LinkedIn, absolutely.
LinkedIn.
So for a real estate agent, I don't know if they're going to find sellers on TikTok.
No, but it could grow their audience.
Okay.
And I hear that because even when I was launching with the app and we were talking about which platforms, my marketing lead said, she was like, it's not necessarily your target audience, but it is about
your audience.
Audience in
I mean,
general.
it could even be that the son of your target audience is on TikTok.
And then
they
pushes
overhear
for
there.
it.
Exactly.
Yep. You never know.
Yeah. And I was quite surprised to learn that Snapchat is the most popular in the region. I don't even have
Snapchat. I think I had it when I was like, how old were we? 18?
Yeah.
I don't know, 20?
A long time ago. But that's where everyone is nowadays, apparently. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
I'm not down with those disappearing messages. I need the receipts. I need the receipts. I can't be dealing with those disappearing messages. Okay. So we've got past the due diligence checks. We've got past the video vibe check. Let's talk about the first date, assuming it's not going to be a coffee date. How do you kind of gear your clients or members up to not come across overly excited? Do you give them a bit of kind of...
No, I hate that trend. Why would you not show that you're interested in somebody when you are? That's like the dumbest thing ever, to come off too cool. That's dumb. If you're interested in somebody, let them know.
Just make it clear.
Oh my gosh, Silvia, I had such an amazing time with you tonight. Can't wait to see you again.
That's nice.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to hear, isn't it?
Yeah,
and then aren't you going back like, wow, David was so cool. I just made that name up. But yeah,
David.
Like, I want to see him too.
Yeah. Okay, so just be you. Like, just be you. Be genuine. Be authentic.
Why would you want to be somebody else? You're not going to attract the right partner for you.
And you're not going to maintain that facade.
You can't maintain that facade, that persona. Like, you have to be 100% you, authentic, genuine, in order to attract an ideal partner that fits into you and your life.
Okay. So going into real estate now, I would say...
Post real photos.
As an agent, you should be encouraging honesty from your client after the viewing. You know, it's not... And a lot of people think, okay, I don't want to ask too many questions. I don't want to come across pushy. No, you know, this is your time as well as their time.
Correct.
And you've got to have some kind of summary of the date, the viewing, whatever, you know, the time that you've just spent with that person.
We always grab feedback.
So you've got to get
that's
feedback
what we do.
to help you do your job better.
To curate the experience for...
I love that. That's a golden nugget right there.
That's what we do. So
like, don't just say goodbye and walk away. Get feedback.
Yes.
You're interested, not interested? Okay, if it's a no, tell me exactly why so I can make sure the next one is better.
So we take email feedback from both client and member to understand. So we ask like basic questions, right? And to get to the crux of it. What went well, what didn't, or not what didn't, even better if. And then that curates the experience on both parties.
Okay. So not only does it help you do your job better, but the feedback is valuable to your client. So let's say
some want to hear, some don't.
And
some are like, don't care what Silvia said about me.
However, I guarantee you every seller of a property wants to know everything that's been said about their property.
Of course.
So It's about packaging, or you also have to curate that feedback.
Oh yeah. So I require honest feedback. I deliver it in the best way possible that's constructive. You never want to hurt somebody's feelings on either side. And this is what I was saying before about having those people skills, that high emotional quotient, understanding how to deliver a message, because it's not what you're saying. It's how you're saying it. And
it's important to third party the feedback. So rather than, you know, if you're giving seller feedback, rather than saying, oh, the price is too expensive, we need to reduce the price, make it third party. So the feedback that we've had from the last 5 viewers has been that it's priced higher than comparable properties in the same location.
You know, going back to Billie mindset, right? You know, I've stopped saying certain words, and one of the things that I stopped saying is expensive. Oh, that's expensive. Instead, I say, oh, that costs more than usual, more than normal. Interesting.
More than normal. Okay, what other words have been struck out of the vocabulary?
I stopped saying saving. Instead, I'm creating a cash cushion.
Cash cushion, I like that.
And I stopped saying spending. Instead, I'm releasing to receive more.
Interesting.
Oh, and no more budget. This is an allowance for this.
Budget and allowance. Okay, amazing. Right. Let's move on to prenups.
Love it. Everybody,
we're at contract stage.
Get a prenup. Yes, please. Everybody.
So this is the terms and conditions of a sale. In, you know, our equivalent terms and conditions of a sale or of a lease.
Yeah.
How important is it?
Oh,
it's important to be
it's
clear.
The most important part, because it's about protection. This doesn't mean, oh, I'm preparing for a breakup. I hate when people say that. Usually people who say that aren't people who understand money. Sorry, like that's just that. Like, I think about myself and even my transition in life. My goal when I was younger was to marry rich, and I always was told marry rich, marry first for money, second for love. Obviously, like, it's a joke, but like, I used to always think that way. So my previous partners were always very, very wealthy men. Now that I have stepped into,
I'm the wealthy man.
I'm the wealthy man. Thank you, Cher. But now that I have stepped into a position of power in that sense of wealth, I would never, ever marry somebody without a prenup, because it's all about protection. And listen, you and me are lovey-dovey now. This is all just about, in this stage now, let's be friendly to one another and decide the terms and conditions before or if it does get nasty.
Absolutely. And it's the same in real estate, where, you know, at the time where you're entering into a contract or preparing the terms and conditions of the contract or the sale, it's a happy time. You're excited. You're not thinking of a worst case scenario, but it's about protecting yourself, making it super clear what your expectations are, what would happen in a worst case scenario, and really just protecting yourself, your assets, and your time and money. Okay. Supply and demand. What trends are you noticing right now?
You know, what's funny is that I hear it from both ends. Men complain about one thing, women complain about
what are men complaining about?
Men are complaining about there's an abundance of working women.
When you say working women, ladies of the night.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's what I meant. I mean, women should be working. Sorry. You know what I mean by that. And they always say, I mean, I hate this term gold digger. Like, I really do. But that's the terminology that they're using. I think it's about being discerning about who you're choosing as a partner, because it's totally okay to want a certain lifestyle. Totally. So it's all about what the reasonings are behind that and the purpose for and things like that. Women complain that there aren't any good men. Nobody wants any commitment. But I see both sides. And firstly, the two of you both teach each other how to treat each other. But beyond that, the most amazing people I've ever met in my entire life have been living in the UAE. And when I first started my agency, I said, these people are just missing one another. I want to be the bridge that connects them. And when people say, oh, there's not enough this, there's not enough that, nope, you're looking in the wrong places. And if your current environment, an environment isn't just physical, it's the people that you surround yourself with. If your current environment isn't producing, or you're not attracting something in any way, any sense, whether that's career, love, house, then change your environment.
Okay.
Period.
And that can easily be translated into real estate as well. If you're not, I mean, I do believe in sticking things through, waiting for things to grow, and not everything happens overnight. But
Correct.
Let's say you're a specialist in a particular area, or with a particular developer, or, you know, you're in a particular niche. If it's not working for you, before exiting the industry, maybe try a different location, try a different area that gels with you better, that maybe suits you. You know, a lot of people go straight into residential, and they don't think about commercial leasing or sales. And actually, not that it's easier, it's completely different, but there's a lot more freedom that comes with commercial leasing and selling. First of all, you're not selling people's house. It's not a home.
It's more of a business transaction,
It's a business
rather than an emotional.
So the decisions are a lot easier to make. You get your weekends back as well as a real estate agent, because you're not,
that's smart.
you know, everyone's viewing Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
You can have your weekend. So it's about kind of considering all the avenues of the industry and maybe finding a different niche rather than exiting altogether.
Or you're constantly going out to clubs and bars. Hey, why don't you pick up a hobby? Pick up a hobby that is mixed. Go do a sports class, join a running club, do something else.
There's that meme on Instagram. It was like, I know why I'm single now. It's because I don't leave my house. Apparently, I have to leave my house.
Well, I always say, do a hobby, meet a hottie.
Okay.
Golden nugget.
Okay. I think that's about all for today.
Yeah. So then let's conclude it. Yeah.
We've dropped some multiple industry golden nuggets, but they all align into one another. We are a bridge, a connection between the seller and the buyer of the most important things in life, apart from health.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like doctors, and doctors, real estate agents, matchmakers. You know, the most important three professions. I'm going to put it out there.
I think that being a connector is an amazing superpower, and what we do as matchmakers and real estate agents changes people's lives.
Absolutely.
And the choice that you make in a partner or a house, and I relate this especially to matchmaking, can either elevate you or depress you.
Absolutely.
Same in the house, right? It's your environment. So these are two very important decisions
that we help make.
Yeah, and if you have somebody on your side that understands you and is helping you to create that decision for success, boom.
Amazing. You've been great, Christiana. Thank you very much. Check her out, Match and Meet app. Download the app.
Yes. Christiana.maxion.matchmaker, christianamaxion.com, and of course for the app, themaxion.com, Maxion, Match and Meet.
Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, Silvia.
Bye. Thank you, Christiana. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on another episode of Golden Nuggets with Silvia Eldawi. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.